Hello and welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm Blank Gates. So, where do we go from here? The problem with discussing purposes that motivate is that at some point you might just be touched by a purpose and feel motivated. See, that's the thing about purposes that motivate. Eventually, you're watching these videos and I talk about a purpose that motivates and it resonates with you. There's this opera singer, and he went deep down. You hear that? There was an opera singer, and he went deep down into the basement of some kind of bunker, and there was cement walls all around. And he sang a note. I don't know the note. Don't expect me to sing at this point. He sang a note, and the thing is that as he sang this note, the cement resonated. Whatever frequency he was singing, somehow it was able to connect with this cement structure, and the entire structure started to vibrate. Now that's the essence of purposes that motivate. You see, until now, like at the beginning, we're talking about enhancing wellness. And with some of you, it's going to be like, yes, that's me. I'm a trainer, or I'm a financial analyst, or I'm a stockbroker, or I'm an insurance salesman. It's like something, or I'm a doctor. Look at how many industries are built around wellness. Or you're saying attain certification or other recognition, and you're saying, yes, I see the potential in every one of my students. I help them to work toward certification. Or I work with people as a coach. I teach people how to get public recognition. Or I'm an actor, or I'm a singer, and I go to the clubs. I do my thing every night, and I'm looking for that recognition. Or enhancing reputation. I come on this YouTube channel every single day. Today is day number 69. I haven't missed a beat because I'm trying to enhance my reputation. I'm trying to show to the world in a public forum that I can go 101 days, rain or shine, and not miss a beat. Deploy, gain, create resources, methods, skills, knowledge. Yeah, of course, why do you think I'm reading this book? Why have I been reading it for almost 6 years? Because I'm trying to develop my personal ability to gain methods, to gain skills, to gain knowledge, and then deploy methods, deploy skills, deploy knowledge. Ally with or create entities, relationships, or activities. Yeah, so this is the whole point. That's why there's this link down below. You can meet me the first time, $10, and we can start planning, thinking better about planning your work, what you do at work. How could you better invest $10? It's like I'm working at an extreme subsidized rate. Extreme subsidized rate. I could charge more. And of course, if you read the fine print in my Preply account, you'll see that after 2 months, the price goes up. But at least for 2 months, how could you better invest $10? Maybe $10 a week. Maybe $20 a week. How can you better invest than to think clearly about the outcomes which you are trying to achieve, and then create a step-by-step plan, and then go through all these different checklists and start to, tune your brain and look at some specific problems and figure out how to solve those problems with real solutions. What are you waiting for? Click the link. Click the link, my friend. See, I'm trying to create these relationships, which are going to then turn into activities. All right, and I want to ally with you in your activity of doing work in order for you to do well, to think well, to even do great. Not just survive, but thrive. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason I'm here. So then we form agendas, right? So you're going to feel like you're gaining goals. You know, as we start to build your plan and start talking about plans, you're going to feel like you are starting to gain ground, like you really understand what your purposes are, like what you're really trying, you have some sense of direction, you're moving forward. It's actually kind of a problem because some people, after they start talking to me for a while, they're like, oh my goodness, like, I can see. And then, of course, then they feel dissatisfied because they see where they are. And they're like, wait a minute, I got so much further to go. But that's the whole point of gaining a sense of direction, right? I can see where I'm going and I can realize that is really far away. Optimize risk taking and exposure to risk. So, of course, you're not going to quit your job unless you have like a really unless you figured out the risks, unless you've done the research, you built the scenarios, you've identified all the different people who you're going to work with, you know clearly what you're going to do, and then in a couple of days from now we're going to get back to the state impact checklist, and you'll figure out how to actually look at those different scenarios and how to think through those different scenarios and eventually pick one. So then we move to creating effects. Have satisfying experiences or relationships. Yeah, having satisfying. Honestly, it's like this is like back and forth. I'm like a metronome because it's like I don't care about people. Man, I can't live without people. I don't care about people. It's like I'm a cat, right? It's like for 1 minute I'm like I really care, and then the next minute it's like what? I care? I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Maybe. Provide resources, methods, or knowledge. Provide resources. I don't even understand what that says. Provide resources. So this is the one I was always confused about because it's like on the one hand you have potential where I can see the opportunity to shape potential. And then there's the actual, okay, so like when someone's talking to me and they tell me what's going on. So I usually start the same way when I talk to people with a one-on-one meeting, the first meeting. I say, all right, so what's the project? You start telling me your project. And then I say, all right, so if you're speaking to your boss and you said, boss, I want a raise. And then your boss says, sure, why not? All you have to do is this in the next 3 months, or this in the next 6 months, or this in the next year. And then you start identifying those milestones, the things that you need to accomplish in order to satisfy that value, like the thing that your boss needs you to do, that thing that the market needs you to do, the thing that your team needs to do in order to fulfill, to reach the results that you're working towards. So clarify those outcomes, clarify those reuses, and then make a plan that works towards it. So I always ask, like, what do you need to do in order to get that raise? And then we know, we can clarify those outcomes. And then, usually it's providing. So that's like, that's the looking at the shaping the potential. But then eventually people actually start working. They have to go back to work after our Skype call or Zoom call or whatever it is. Then we need to go into the market and actually do the work, providing those resources, providing those methods, providing the knowledge. And that's what I'm doing in this video series. Is I'm providing you a resource, these videos. I'm providing you with methods from the book Create Crucial Insight, providing you with these themes, providing you with knowledge, examples, asking you to think about it, asking you to consider it, asking you to research these topics and figure it out yourself and go and do it. Now, the thing is, like, I've been building up to this next one because yesterday, over the last, long time, I've been like getting deeper and deeper into history. For the longest time, I was just studying economics and politics And then now I started studying economics, politics, and history. And the more I'm studying history, the more I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a big world, and there are some really strong guys that are doing some really big things. And it's like, when you start talking about satisfying principles and standards, all right? So, like, you have to decide whose team that you're going to be on. All right, so a lot of people are kind of like forced to be on a team. They grew up in a certain religion. They grew up in a certain political party. They grew up, maybe they're a military family. They grew up with certain DNA, with certain people around them in a certain neighborhood, with certain ideas and certain thoughts. And a lot of people, I think maybe even the majority of people, they learn to satisfy those standards. To fit into society, you have to learn the standards and principles of that society. And then unfortunately, like a lot of those institutions are controlled by certain people. They're controlled by certain ideas. And those ideas and principles are constantly being taught in these institutions. So if you grew up in that institution and you learn to believe as those people in those institutions, then you will probably also feel more fulfilled in life when you are acting in a way that is in concert with those standards and principles. Now, the thing is that, this world is whack. There's a lot of crazy things happening. And constantly there are nations and there are cultures and there are races and there are companies and there are gangsters and mafias and all different types of people that are crashing up into each other. And some of these people, they take. Some of these people steal. Some of these people kill. Others help. Others love. Others support. There are all these different types of ways that you can create principles and that you can affect standards. You just have to choose. So this is why I just feel kind of like I've started to resonate. Did I finally find a purpose that resonated with me? Have you been resonating as you've been listening to these videos? Has there been one principle that you just kind of like can't forget, or you started to see how it's connected to you and then you just felt this motivation? So this is why, why do I spend so much time studying history? Why do I spend so much time studying economics and politics? It's like, because then you start to realize that the leaders of countries, that these leading companies, they have something.